Assalamualaikum, good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Prof. Rabiah.
Good morning, Dr. Rabiah.
Kayaknya ada masalah itu Bu Amel. Coba ada di WA dulu sama Prof-nya. Ada WA-nya, nomornya.
Kak Ade yang ada.
Dicek dulu.
Saya punya kontaknya.
Saya nggak punya, Pak.
Kontaknya sama siapa?
Email.
Atau di chat itu aja dikirim sama ibu itu. Good morning, Prof. Rabiah. Masih mute.
Kayaknya speaker beliau bermasalah ya.
Ya. Nggak bisa dengar suara kita, Mbak. Good morning, Prof. Rabiah. Hello. Morning, Prof. Rabiah.
Coba saya tanya Bu Maya ya.
Ya, dicek dulu. Kayaknya ada masalah itu.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Rabiah.
Assalamualaikum, boleh dengar?
Waalaikumsalam, sudah dengar, Prof.
Alhamdulillah. Kenapa technical error? Okey. Boleh, untuk videonya semua okey ya?
Oke, Profesor.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Good morning, everybody. We are delighted to welcome to International General Lecture of the Research Trends on Computational Linguistics and Natural Language Processing. Welcome to USU, Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir. We are now going to listen to the welcoming speech delivered by the head of Computer Science Doctoral Program. Please welcome Dr. Polta Siombing.
Thank you, Mr. Indra. The Honorable, the Dean of Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, Universitas Sumatera Utara, Dr. Maya Silvi Lydia, Master of Science. Keynote speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir from Research of Computational Linguistics and Natural Language Processing, the Head of Quality Assurance Institute of AI 4.0, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Dr. Amalia Mahdi is the moderator. Dr. Ade Chandra is the head of the Informatic Master Department, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, Universitas Sumatera Utara. Indra Aulia, Master of Science, the Secretary of the Informatic Master Department, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, Universitas Sumatera Utara. All of the participants. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Polta Siombing as the Chair of the Computer Science Doctoral Department, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, Universitas Sumatera Utara. I congratulate you on joining us in the General Lecture special topic, Research Trends on Computational Linguistics and Natural Language Processing. This morning, we invite Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir from the Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. She is from the Head of Quality Assurance Institute of IA 4.0, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Welcome to Medan, Prof. Rabiah, even if only via Zoom.
Yeah,
I hope all of the participants can follow this event with a focus on this topic and seriously from the beginning and up to the end. Thank you much. Thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir. Thank you all. Indra, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Paul Tasyambir, for welcoming speech. Before we continue the next agenda, please turn on your camera to photo session. I will take the picture.
Siapa tadi chargernya, Li?
We have 2 page in the Zoom. We start the first page. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The second page. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, thank you. We are now continue our meeting to the next agenda, that is to hear the speaker which will be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. The speech will be moderated by Dr. Amalia from Undergraduate Program of Computer Science, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, Universitas Sumatera Utara. Please welcome Professor Rabiah and Dr. Amalia.
Oke, thank you very much, Pak Indra. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Amalia. I'll be responsible for hosting this general lecture for today. It is with special excitement that I'm pleased to welcome our guest speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Assalamualaikum, Professor. Good morning. It is a pleasure. Yes.
Suaranya
It's a
terlalu
pleasure
kecil.
to have you here. Welcome to Fasilkom TI USU. Is it clear my voice? Can you hear my voice? The audience?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. It is with special excitement that I'm pleased to welcome our guest speaker. First, before we listen to Dr. Rabiah's speech, let me share the curriculum vitae of Professor Rabiah. Would you please host to give me the share screen? Please host.
Okay, yes, ready.
Now, our guest speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir. Here the curriculum from Dr. Rabiah. The experience, the last experience, she is Associate Professor from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. She complete her PhD from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. She has research interest in computational linguistics, intelligent computing, big data analytics, and information system. Here the research projects of Professor Rabiah, and this is the teaching experience. And this is a selected publication from Professor Rabiah. Most of them is in natural language processing, in big data, and artificial intelligence. Okay. Today, Dr. Rabiah will deliver a very interesting topic, which research trends on computational linguistics and natural language processing. The lecture will be held in 2 sessions. The first session is a presentation time. It takes about 1 hour for the presentation by Professor Rabiah. And the next half hour is for question and answer session. I believe many of the students here are interested in the natural language processing topic. So this is your great opportunity to discuss with Dr. Rabiah. In the question answer session, you may raise your hand by using raise hand button. You may speak after I allow you to do so. Alternatively, you may type your question in chat box and I'll read your question to Professor Rabiah. Do not forget to mention your name and your program. You can also ask Dr. Rabiah directly by unmute your microphone in question and answer session. Before we begin the first session, I would like to remind you to mute your microphone so we can hear the speech clearly. Okay, let's start the first session. Please welcome Dr. Rabiah. The time is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Amalia, for the brief of me, based on my CV, and also thank you to Dr. Poltak Siombing for the welcoming speech, and also Indra Aulia. Okay, so can I share the screen? Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Can unshare the screen, and I will share my screen.
Tes.
Kita tunggu ya, Bu Amel.
I just in and out just now. Okay, even though during the introduction I couldn't hear it clearly. I don't know. Either my network here or your side. But I hope that the lecture will be smooth. Okay, after this, hopefully. Okay. Everybody can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Professor. Professor, are you still there?
Assalamualaikum. Dr. Amalia, can you hear me?
Waalaikumsalam. Yes, now I can hear you, Professor.
Yes, I'm afraid that during the lecture, the network is still on and off here. I'm not sure. By the way, thank you for the introduction and for the welcoming. Okay, and Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everybody. Okay, so can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay, can you see my screen?
In progress.
Can you see the slideshow?
Yes. We can see your presentation.
Okay. The internet is not stable. That's the message that I received. Okay, so if everybody couldn't listen, okay, couldn't hear me, can you let me know? Okay, otherwise I will lecture by my own. Okay, so today I was given guest lectures with the title Research Trend on Computational Linguistics.
Hello.
So sorry for the problem. Can I leave a bit and I change my network?
Okay, please.
Okay. Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome back,
All right.
Professor.
So I think my network was a problem. So
Okay.
many devices is on today. All right. So let me share my slide. Sorry for the technical problem.
It's okay,
Okay.
Professor.
So today, can I just continue with my online outline for today? Okay. So with this topic given, first of all, I would like to talk about the computational linguistics and also natural language processing. Okay, what's the difference between these two? And then we will look at the application trend. Okay, it is something related with the research. Okay, basically the research can come from the application, and then we figure out what the research that can be done. Okay, so I will also discuss the example of the application, also the current example of the application, and also we continue with the research trend. Okay, so the research trend, we will focus on methods, okay, that we are commonly used, okay, lately, previously, okay, and then we will see also the future trend of research for natural language processing and computational linguistics. Okay, and then we continue with the computational linguistics NLP solution. Okay, and then we will see what is the future research that we can do. Okay, based on natural language processing. Okay. All right. First of all, okay, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about the difference. Okay, there is not this much difference between the computational linguistic and natural language processing. Okay, what you can see here, for the computational linguistic, it is more towards linguistic. Okay, what we are looking at is more towards on the linguistic, which is we are looking for the meaning, the definition, and the explanation that's given by a single word, a sentence, a phrase, and also a document. Okay, and then the computational linguistic is involved with the question and answering. Okay, so using the computational tools. Okay, so that is what we can say about computational linguistics. And the natural language processing is more towards on the computer science, meaning that how do you process the language? Okay, of course it will involve the application, okay, but the concentration of the natural language processing in terms of how do you want to process the language. Okay, it's not necessarily we are looking for the meaning, definition, or explanation, but we can go further looking for the meaning, definition, and explanation. So what I can say that between the computational and natural language processing itself, it's just intouchable. Okay, so some people, they are mentioned they are on computational linguistics, but some people, they are talking about the natural language processing. Okay, but these two, there is nothing much different. I can say that the natural language processing will be embedded in the computational linguistics, because computational linguistics looking for the more than that, but to get whatever the linguistic needs, we have to do the natural language processing. Okay, so CL here is considered the computational linguistics. Okay, that studies the human language to computationally understand how we as a human have the capacity to produce and understand the language. Whereas the NLP takes a more pragmatic perspective and say that we wish to build systems that facilitate some language interface. This is what I'm saying. But some people, they are not saying there is difference between computational linguistics and natural language. Some people, they are love to use the word computational linguistics because the phrase is more sexier. Okay, I don't know. Okay, that is what people say about why they are using computational linguistics rather than the natural language processing. So maybe the natural language processing looks like very technical, where that we have to look at what the technical process involves for the language. Okay, so for me, I put in my CV as a computational linguistics rather than natural language processing, because I'm looking for the meaning. I'm looking for the understanding of of a phrase. Okay, I'm looking for the definition and I'm looking for the explanation. So when I put the computational linguistics, meaning that the NLP will be embedded. Okay, because to do those things, I need the NLP as a fundamental. Okay, as a basic process on it. So for the next slide, I always saying that the computational linguistics / natural language processing. So I hope that you all now clear about what is the computational linguistics and also natural language processing, because each of them have their own purpose actually. Okay, so we look at the history of the natural language processing. Okay, we start with the machine translation. Okay, in 1940. Okay, then the original language at that time was English and Russian, but the use of other words such as Chinese also come into in 1960. Okay, when we talk about the machine translation. Then we follow the next in 1960s. Okay, in 1960s we are talking about ELIZA. Okay, the ELIZA is a chatbot. Okay, that developed by the Artificial Intelligence Laboratory of MIT. Okay, so the ELIZA developed in year 1964 to 1966, which is, it takes 2 years. Okay, it was created by Joseph Rosenbaum. Okay, the program was based on script named as Doctor, okay, which was arranged to Bulgarian psychotherapy and use rule-based. So they respond the question of the user, which were psychometric based. It was one of the chatbots which were capable of taking during experiments. Okay, continue in 1970. Okay, we have Luna, which is Luna here is a question answering system. Okay, when we are talking about question answering system, that means we are talking about the computational linguistics. That means to answer a question, that means we have to know what is the meaning of the query. Okay, but Luna at that time, it is just based on the rule base. Okay, at the beginning of natural language processing or computational linguistics, all the research has been done in a keyword base until 1980, when we are looking for the computational grammar of language. Okay, so when we are talking about the computational grammar of a certain language, okay, of course, the language English will be the pioneer. Okay, we actually link with the science of reasoning. Okay, for meaning and considering the user's belief and intention. But at that time, the word of computational linguistics is not appear. Okay, we are, even though we are looking for the reasoning, which involve the meaning and consideration of definition, explanation, but we are still saying as a natural language processing. Okay, so then in 1990, okay, the NLP grows. Okay, so we have a proper grammar. We also have a tool, okay, and then the practical resources that related with the NLP. And then we look at the trend of the application. For the trend of application, as we can see here, okay, as we can see, we started 2019, okay, until 2025. So this is the application involved. Okay, the text classification, sentiment analysis, machine translation, information extraction, question answering, automatic summarization. Okay, so the need, okay, the requirement of those applications is increased, okay, keep on increasing, okay, until in this projection is about 2025. Okay, so this prediction of the TL or NLP application caused by several reasons. Okay, so the first one is to provide a holistic approach. For this reason, provide a holistic approach, the organization that understand how AI will work within a product. Okay, and in addition to that, the technical talent needed to implement and scale the NLP project, so it will perform better from a business perspective. Okay, that is how the natural language processing is needed. Okay, to stay competitive, all branches of the organization will need to understand the advantages of the integrating AI and how it will affect their role to give a benefit to the business. Okay, the reason many projects fail is due to the lack of holistic AI integration at this moment, whereby the product manager, designer, the marketers, okay, aren't actively involved in its adoption. And so they are not looking for the holistic per se when they are developing the application of natural language, of the CL or natural language. It's the overall investment in education, time, energy, and practice across the entire organization that will distinguish its success in the coming years. Okay, we admit, okay, when we are in year 2021 now, so either we notice or we just take for granted, but actually the natural language sources will give a meaningful for current business. Okay, and then the second reason is about the increased customer service automation. Okay, for business everywhere, the pandemic has challenged us to deal with increasing ticket volume while providing fast response to urgent queries. Okay, now we are in the pandemic. Okay, so I don't know in Indonesia how, but Malaysian they are getting to move endemic, they call it. Okay, so we notice that the business all over the world looking to answer all the queries and where the queries come from and what kind of input that we are looking that we were facing. Okay, all are come from the human conversation, which is in natural language with a different languages. Okay, so the organization in 2021 will continue to automate simple customer service. Okay, to help them handle bundle of customer query quickly and efficiently. So how to do that? The NLP will help the business, okay, to provide a good tool in answering all the queries from the customers. With the advance of the natural language processing technology, okay, compared to previous year, okay, so because nowadays we always embed the natural language processing technology with the AI, okay. So with the advance of NLP technology here, as well as rising demand of the customer services, so we can also assume that there will be massive advancement in the next generation of any application. For example, the chatbot. Okay, I will give the detail, okay, more explanation on the chatbot itself because I also working on the developing the chatbot currently. Okay, the third reason, the growth of multilingual. Okay, this is about the when we talk about the growth of multilingual, we admit that natural language processing even now, okay, this can support just a few languages. Okay, the most common languages for the NLP is English and Mandarin. Okay, last year I was being an examiner for the students from University of Prince Sumaya, Jordan. Okay, they have to create a scratch data set. Okay, meaning that because she is working on the Arabic language, there is no data set that she can rely on, okay, for the Arabic data set. So she took 1 year just to prepare the data set, okay, because she trying to use the different language rather than English and Mandarin. Okay, because English and Mandarin is a common, we have a word net for that languages, and then the word net keep on updating all the information in. Okay, so but the word is in English. Okay, so that is why when we try to work the natural language processing with other languages, meaning that we have to prepare our own words, okay, from a scratch, and definitely it will take more time on it. Okay, so the next one is about social media monitoring. Okay, when we talk, everybody are using social media, okay, to communicate, to having social communication, okay, having a business communication. So in fact, in the social media, sometimes they have giving an opinion on certain products. Okay, so what you can do by looking at the social media monitoring, okay, we can have an opinion mining, or we can have a sentiment analysis, okay, which these two things, okay, the opinion mining or sentiment analysis will play a major role in how the businesses monitor their social media in this year. Okay, so utilizing the NLP tool to gauge brand sentiment will enable organizations to gain real-time insight into how customers feel about their product or brand. Okay, so mostly they are considering all the input from social media, monitored, analyzed, and get some output that giving an advantage for their businesses. And the last one of the reason why the CL and NLP were increasing, okay, it's about the advanced detection. Okay, advanced detection is talking about the fake and also cyber bullying. Okay, when people start having their social networking, okay, their social communication through social media, okay, the fake news and the cyberbullying will increase. Okay, so actually this kind of problem gives for the expertise in natural language processing, think about what kind of application that can help the community, okay, to work to avoid those things, okay, or to identify, okay, before we can avoid or identify the fake news or any cyberbullying, we need to process the input in the social media. Okay, we need to analyze it. Okay, that is where the NLP coming in the computer environment. Okay, what we can do the detection as doing just now, and also avoid or prevention. Okay, so NLP will only continue to benefit businesses as our reliance on and understanding of data sheets. And so with the amount of data of our disposal, it will be more and more pertinent to understand it, observe it, and in a certain situation, we want to censor it. Okay, the natural language processing will become more widespread in the year to come as business reap the business it has to offer, from improving operations, reducing costs, to heighten customer satisfaction and more informed decision making. That is what the natural language or computational linguistics can provide or can give the benefit to the businesses. So I give an example where the EL or NLP been used. Okay. Now I'm just focused on the healthcare and the life sciences. Okay. So we know that the global natural language, the global NLP in healthcare and the life science market, okay, counted from 1,497 about million, okay, in 2018, and it increased if you look at the this diagram. Okay, from 1,497 million up to 21,347 million for year 2026. Okay, that's just the projection. But okay, so we can say that the compound annual growth rate, okay, for the requirement of the NLP in healthcare is about 26.8%. Okay, that is what the rate of return that healthcare and life science can gain when they are applying the NLP application in their healthcare and life sciences. Okay, but we are still lacking of skills. We are still lacking in manpower and shortage of adequate technology and equipment. Okay, that is our constraint at this moment. So we know that the NLP is needed in the future, but we need to enhance our skill, especially on the technical skill for the natural language processing. Okay, the knowledge, understanding of the natural language processing. Okay, so Europe actually is expected to register robust growth in global NLP. Okay, in healthcare and life science. So same happen to other countries as well. Okay, including Asia Pacific. Okay, it's Asia Pacific meaning that Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, they are also looking for this and to put themselves into global natural language processing in healthcare and life science. That is how the expertise in natural language processing, or whoever people who have a skill on the natural language processing, will be benefit for them to put themselves in the domain of healthcare and also life sciences. Okay. Okay, so another example of application, as I mentioned earlier, the chatbot. Okay. Eliza chatbot 1960. Okay. There is no specific grammar they are using in Eliza. Okay, it's totally by words. Okay, and then it works by rule based. Okay, and then from time to time, the features of the chatbot keep on increasing. Okay, keep on advanced. Okay, so but chatbot previously, even though the ELIZA is worked in 1940, but after that nobody cares about the chatbot. Okay, so until about 2019, okay, 2018, 2019, people start looking for the chatbot. Okay, even though, especially at this moment when we having a pandemic, okay, users need a quick answer. Okay, so when they need a quick answer, human will not give the service 24 hours. Okay, but the chatbot, if you need a service, by using a chatbot, you can get the service that you want in 24 hours, because it is just a robot. You just can open the website and then look at their chatbot and then try to ask whatever that you want. Okay, and then you will get the answer. That is how the chatbot comes back. Okay, so that is how the chatbot come back to the market, and then people are focusing on developing a chatbot. In fact, there is a tool which is you don't have to go for the technical wise, okay, to develop a chatbot. There are provided a step, okay, to develop a simple chatbot that's based on the rule base. Okay, but if you want to go more further, okay, if you want to go further, looking for the meaning definition as what the computational linguistics, okay, that means you have to embed AI into it. Okay, so this is the prediction use cases for chatbot. Okay, what their people need is getting answers immediately in an emergency time. Okay, so this is the survey that has been done why chatbot is needed. Okay, 37% is talking about the answers is an emergency. They need answers in very quick. Okay, so 35% for the resolving complaint or problem, because the chatbot provides you 24-hour services. That means you can do a complaint, you can ask your problem for the any business services, then you can get answer easily. Okay, getting detailed answer or explanation, also 35%. 34% is talking about finding a human customer service assistant. Okay, so and then 33% making a reservation, such as restaurant, hotel. Okay, so those things are most needed by the users or the customer. Okay, so the rest contribute below than 30%. All right, so I give you an example of the chatbot. Okay, actually, I'm saying we here because I'm working with Dr. Maya Sylvie, also Dr. Partha from India. Okay, we developed the Heal Favor. Okay, so Heal Favor is actually the project that focus to assist rural community, okay, regarding the healthcare, such as giving a quick answer. Okay, as we know that quick answers in an emergency 37%. Okay, that is what we focus on in developing the Heal Favor here. And then the system also suggests what doctors should be approached, okay, by the users, and also set the appointment. Okay, so that is what the Heal Favor, the purpose of Heal Favor has been developed. So this is the sample, the example, okay, the hill favor, and then we provide a chatbot, and then so we can communicate with the hill favor at any time, okay. We can give what are the symptoms that we are having, okay, that we facing at that time, and then the chatbot will assist you in terms of what is the disease come from that symptom, okay. So other than that, it will also giving an appointment to which doctor, okay. But this is our first chatbot, okay. So the chatbot is developed based on the skill in rule base, okay. All right. So this is just a pilot, okay. Just a pilot. Just a proof of concept for our first project, okay. Further, we will continue with another solution, okay, to enhance whatever the field favor having at this moment. Okay. So this video is quite long. Okay, sometimes the answer keep on repeating. So I move to the next slide. Okay. So this slide, this is the current project on the chatbot that I'm doing with the industry. Okay. So since I have an experience with Dr. Partha from India and also Dr. Maya, we can see the weaknesses that in the chatbot itself. Okay, so it's very rigid for a certain keyword of symptom. Okay, so for this project, I couldn't get some collaborator in healthcare. Okay, so but the idea of looking for the semantic or meaning, and also the explanation or the definition. Okay, so I applied the idea of the chatbot into another domain. Okay, which is this chatbot we developed for the purpose to assist the student for online learning environment. Okay, so for this project, I managed to collaborate with the industry who are running tuition online. Okay, the system called as home tutor. Okay, so this project is running with the company to assist the student that using home tutor. Okay, so what that I applied in the dialogue manager for the chatbot. Okay, I'm not using the rule base as what we developed for Hill Favor, but I using AI approach, okay, to understand, to know what is the requirement or need of the student. Okay, so at the same time, for the knowledge base, I'm using text ontology. Okay, to show the interrelation between a concept for certain phrases, okay, for a certain sentences. Okay, so in this project, we applied the AI SVM model, the simplest text classification model actually, okay, together looking for the semantic analysis, okay, to identify what is the requirement of the users in terms of for us to provide the answers or the material of courses that the users needed. That is why the design of this chatbot, we will link to the database, okay, for the learning material. Okay, this is the application that we can work with, okay, from the NLP come to the application. And then the next example of the application is about email assistant. Okay, so this email assistant, which is where is the NLP, the role of the NLP here. Okay, it's giving a function to assist email composition, okay, such as auto-complete, spell check, and autocorrect. So the natural language processing play their roles in employed for email spam, okay, filter the email spam and help uncertain whether or not the email is junk mail or if it's worth keeping. Okay, so NLP also can be used to assist to filter any unnecessary email. Okay, because our conversation, everything is in language. So that is why the NLP is important for any application in the future. All right, so talking about e-commerce, another application, okay, e-commerce. We know that in the pandemic, okay, people do buying using online, okay, instead of normal buying, go to the mall and everything. Okay, so in this case, when you shop online, so the NLP allowed the superior research result that match your research, your search intent. What that you're looking at. Okay, so when you allow the NLP in your e-commerce, okay, that means the NLP will help you to make the e-commerce capable to display search research queries. Okay, search queries regardless the spelling mistake or missing details. Okay, when you embed the NLP inside of the e-commerce, any mistake by the user can be solved. Okay, in the NLP embedded to that system. Okay, spelling mistake. Okay, any missing details. Okay, it also enables users to get better results. Okay, even also faster. Okay, for example, you don't know, you just type one word, but it will provide you choices. Okay, and then you are clear, oh, this is the thing that you want to looking for. So that is how once we put the NLP and embed in any application. Okay, so in searching online, okay, and all the users will be fit, okay, the customer data that help retailers understand their preference and habits, okay, by giving a pull-up, okay, choices. So we add the NLP algorithm in e-commerce just to help the users and then allow better customer interaction, okay, and also finally it will give the business increase, okay, due to the understanding of our interface of e-commerce in understanding the requirement of the users. Okay, so the information extraction. So this I forgot to change the title here. Okay, so the next application is about information extraction and analysis. Okay, so what is information extraction looking at here? Okay, that means we want to extract and combine information from a sorted of text sources, including articles, news reports, user manual, and more. Okay, we try find, okay, by a certain phrases. Okay, so we extract all the articles that related of what the phrases that we are put in. Okay, actually it is like if you are familiar with the information retrieval, Okay, basically information retrieval. Previously, we are working with the information retrieval, looking for the search engine, but we are concentrating on the keyword. But if we work more than that, okay, we try to put the computational linguistics, the CL, in information retrieval. So people change it into information extraction because the information that has been extracted is more meaningful. Okay. Retrieval is just put any information based on the keyword. Okay, when we talk about the information extraction, it's more deeper than that, which is we are embed the CL in the process of searching. Okay, so after we gather all the information in information extraction, if we are able to gather the information used to make decision and react based on the algorithm. So whatever that you want to what you want to achieve your goal, for example, okay, the goal is want to up to the decision making. So if you extract the relevant information, meaning that all the collection of information that you get can be used for the decision making. Okay, that is about all about the e-commerce. I'm not cover all the applications, okay, such as question answering and automatic summarization. Okay, I just get some of the applications in this lecture. Okay, then I go for the top 10 issues. Okay, for research trend. Okay, this is the research trend in CL and NLP. We have 10 issues here. Okay, the first one is about market intelligence monitoring. Okay, for the market intelligence monitoring, so these businesses will use intelligent information from NLP to plan their future steps. Okay, so NLP is expected to make it way in the field of marketing very soon. Okay, in the present time, it is only being used in financial marketing. Okay, but actually the NLP can help in determining the market conditions, tenders, related information. In the coming future, it can be a primary key for monitoring the market. So that is the first issue. Okay, research trend for the CL and NLP. Okay, for the business, for the marketing, we can go for tech. Okay, but we can also go for other sources, type of sources or type of data. Okay, I do have a student who are looking for the market intelligence monitoring, but not based on the natural language processing. That will based on the finance, okay, data. All right. So the second issue for the research in NLP is about supervised learning and unsupervised learning collaboration. Okay. Previously, when we are talk about the history of the natural language processing, the NLP itself is not embedded or it's not was not collaborate with any learning method. Okay, machine learning. Okay, so future, okay, even though current people also try to embed the machine learning into NLP. Okay, so why we are using supervised learning and unsupervised learning together with the NLP? Okay, because we know that people working with the text analytics. Okay, we did since 2016 when people talk about big data, okay, and then they are not just saying of big data per se, but they are talking about the big data analysis. Okay, that is involved where the data science come in. Okay, so that is where the unstructured semi-structured and also structured data come in. Okay, when we are talking about text, that means we are working on unstructured data. Okay, because we have to run all the NLP ahead before we can do the analysis of whatever that we are looking at. Okay, so nowadays people working on the text analysis, which need to examine the document very carefully if our data is involved the document, which we call it as the unstructured data. Okay, so the most related application or the most related method that we use is about text mining. Okay, we try to collaborate the supervised and unsupervised learning, okay, to the NLP to make it the task easier and less time taking. Okay, that is how we collaborate the machine learning, supervised and unsupervised learning to the NLP. Okay, to help understand all the terms related to the topic, while the other one makes the establishment of the relationship between terms will be easier. So the next research trend will be looking on the training NLP model with reinforced learning over the years. Okay, training model with reinforced learning. So we know that reinforced learning is basically improve the performance a lot. Okay. So however, there are when we are doing training of RL, reinforced model, it's very time taking if it runs individually. Okay. So when we embed with the NLP, meaning that we are using to do the train base, okay, to do the train base, we are using NLP when we are working with text data, okay, and then the reinforced learning, okay, just used to improve tune terms. Okay, when reinforced learning without NLP, it will take time, but when we split into two, the NLP will handle the train data, okay, for the text input, then the reinforced just need to do the tune, okay, to improve the capability of the product that we want to produce. And then the fourth is about customized product recommendation. The product, no, sorry, the fourth. Okay, the fourth is the fourth. Study the behavior. Okay. The customized product recommendation. Okay, so online shopping. Okay, we take one example of the application. The online shopping become a trend as what we discussed previously. And during the pandemic, most people prefer online rather than go to the mall. Okay, so the retailer having online business, definitely. Okay, so the NLP is actually help the retailers, okay, to study the behavior of the customer through the recommendation system. Okay, so what kind of methods that we could use, okay, for the customized product recommendation? Okay, definitely we know that people will giving a feedback or what we can say a review of the product in text input. Okay, when they are giving input in text, meaning that the NLP will come, okay, to analyze it. Okay, when the NLP has been running, okay, so meaning that we can see what the we can see the behavior of the customer. Okay, so meaning that we can run the sentiment analysis, okay, of what the customer have been reviewed. And then by doing the analysis of the users or customer reviews, we are able to customize our product to make it better for the customer. Okay, so that is another opportunity for the product recommendation. And in terms of accuracy, okay, accuracy classification. Okay, in terms of the accuracy classification, we are applying deep learning. Okay, I think all of you are familiar with the deep learning. Okay, we have CNN, we have RNN. Okay, in a deep learning. Okay, so the application of deep learning in the field of natural language or NLP can have many types. Okay, this means that it may not be accurate, okay, but a new technology with a deep learning makes the text classification will be easier. Classification is not necessarily using the deep learning, okay. It depends on what that you want to process, or that you what is your goal. Okay, either you want to choose the deep learning as to do the classification, or you just using supervised or unsupervised classification. So it doesn't matter. Okay, you can choose any. Okay, but remember what is your goal. Okay, so this opportunity that I give in our research trend today is just to open our mind that any solution can be done. Okay, that what is the next, okay, what is the current research trend that people are working with. Okay, sometimes they are working with the common classification, okay, a basic classification method, but some of it they are applying the deep learning, okay, classification to get more accurate in their product. But the thing is the same. Okay, so that is number 5. Okay, applying the accurate deep learning classification, and then the 6th is fine tuning model will be seamless. Okay, so this model will make with pre-coded application for transfer learning. Okay, so this technology will play a vital role in measuring customer satisfaction. Still, we go for the customer satisfaction. Okay, if you notice, for any research trend that in this slide, okay, even though we have 10, but the kind of application is still looking for the customer satisfaction, meaning that when we are running to measure the customer's satisfaction, that we actually are running a sentiment analysis. Okay, the sentiment analysis application in the NLP. All right, so next will be the intelligent semantic search. Okay, when we are talking, the semantic is about the meaning. Okay, when we mention about the semantic, that means we are mentioned about the CL, Computational Linguistics, not just NLP, but we go further on the CL, which is we are looking for the meaning, we are looking for the definition, we are looking for the explanation. Okay, so the semantic search technology in the information extraction. Okay, we will apply the semantic search technology. Okay, because we want to get the answers that that having a features of semantic, okay, to get to provide the answers. And then the number 8, sentiment analysis for social media. Okay, so this is about social media monitoring. Okay, we also looking for the sentiment analysis. Okay, we know that customer satisfaction also looking for the sentiment analysis. The sentiment analysis to know what is the behavior. We want to analyze the mood, the nature, and the opinion of people who are throw their ideas, okay, in social media. Okay, we want to know that. So we do the research can be done on the sentiment analysis for social media. So in whatever related domain, okay, you can go for the politics, you can go for health, you can go for traveling, you can go for food, anything that people talking in the social media. Okay, people convert or put their ideas, okay, the comments in the social media. So we just look into it, gather all the sources and try to analyze it and do the sentiment analysis on it to see what that we want to have at the end of the project. And then the second last is the growth, okay, in chatbot and virtual assistant. Okay, this is related with what our previous application talking about the chatbot. Okay, as I mentioned, it come back, okay, after Eliza. Okay, the chatbot come back in the market, come back in the research area, year 2019. Okay. So, and the chatbot here, the market estimation for the chatbot increased. Okay, 2.6 billion until year from 2.6 billion, okay, in 2019, and it can be increased up to 142 billion US dollar for the year 2024. Okay, so those who are would like in this area, okay, developing of chatbot, with putting the sense, okay, in natural language, that will be a boom product, okay, in the future. And then the last one is about the intelligent cognitive communication. This is people are looking at this thing, but there is it's not really explored, okay, by the researcher yet on the intelligent cognitive communication. Okay, this is the term with similar to semantic search, but it beyond than that. Okay, so the communication, the cognitive communication, not just provide the meaning, but it will give the communication more easily and more understandable. Okay, so this is in natural language they call it as a discourse level. Okay, in natural language that is called it as a discourse level after the pragmatic level. Okay, we try to understand the meaning. We try to understand the conversation between two parties and so on. All right, so next slide. Okay, this slide is about I try to relate the application and the research opportunity. Okay, we have the kind of application on the left here. Okay, we know that I already discussed about the research, the application. Okay, text classification, sentiment analysis, machine translation, information extraction, QA, and also automatic summarization. And there are 10 research issues. Okay, on the right side. Okay, that have been discussed just now. Okay, so mostly talking about the how do we embed, how do we put the AI technology, okay, the machine learning, the machine learning approaches in together with NLP. Wait, let me have, but my laptop is running out of battery. Okay, so next slide is about text classification. In text classification, basically we are looking for the accurate classification. As I mentioned earlier, it can be used. It's not necessarily using deep learning. Okay, sometimes if we want to collaborate with the second, research issue here, it also can. If you want to look the text classification, the accuracy of the text classification. Okay, so in text classification using deep learning, okay, this is CNN is one of the methods in the deep learning. Okay, what we work with deep learning for text classification, we always working not just a deep learning method, but we have another approaches. Okay, for the first step here, not the first step, sorry. For the first solution, text classification using deep learning, we try to combine the word embedding and the level of the CNN. So word embedding together with the deep learning method CNN used to discriminate documents on classification problems. Okay, so the deep learning offer better performance than classical linear classifier. Okay, especially when used with pre-trained word embedding. Okay, so I'm not sure either you are familiar with the word embedding. Word embedding meaning that we are not working with the word per se, but we convert the word into a vector. Okay, before we go further for the CNN. Okay, the idea is to increase the accuracy of the text classification. Another approach for text classification using deep learning, you are not involved with word embedding, but you also can work text classification using a single layer CNN architecture. Okay, so either for the single layer CNN architecture, you can combine with the raw of the NLP process, okay, by looking for the word. And if you want to combine the single layer CNN with word embedding, so it also can be done. The third, we have a CNN hyperparameter. Okay, so the hyperparameter is actually more, we can give more tuning, okay, more than one tuning on convolutional neural network or CNN. Okay, so the idea of having a hyperparameter parameters, we can have more than others when we are doing tuning using CNN. Okay, when we do the classification. There is a sensitivity analysis into the hyperparameter needed to configure a single layer CNN for document. So, what is the sensitivity issues? The CNN-based model, even the simple one required practitioners to specify the exact model architecture to be used and set the accompanying hyperparameters. So even though we know whatever method or whatever solution that we use for a certain problem, for example, in text classification, that always has pro and cons. Okay, so choosing of the method, choosing of the solution is very important by considering your problem. Okay, and then so for the then we go for the consider character level. Okay, the fourth one. Okay, for the character level, so in natural language processing, when we are talking about a sentence, okay, can you see the slide here? Okay. When we are talking about the sentence, it can be presented, okay, in a tree. Okay, this is what we call it a grammar tree. Okay, so each sentence have their own grammar tree. Okay. When we are talking about the character level, that means we are processing the low level of the sentence. Okay, we are processing the characters of the word. Okay, the character of the word. Okay, for example, in this case, okay, after word, that will be the character. That means the processing involved at the low level of the natural language. Okay, we come from the sentence, we come from the document. After the document, we have a sentence. After the sentence, we have a word, and after the word, we have the character. Okay, so the character-based representation of text considered as an input for the CNN. Okay, CNN actually do not require the more knowledge of words or from previous research that CNN do not require the knowledge about the syntactic and semantic structure of the language. Okay, but once we are working with the character level, we basically looking for the crucial of the system that we are working in when we are working with a different languages. Because different languages have their own spelling. Okay, that means if we are working up to the character level using CNN, we have to put some constraint in terms of the language that we are covering. Meaning that if your work just covered for English, meaning that the English will be the language that you are able to process. Okay, that is the constraint. If you are considering character level for the text classification using CNN. And the last one will be the deeper CNN for classification. Okay, so the deeper classification for meaning that you put more than one layer. Okay, you put more than one layer. If you look at the second solution using a single layer, and then you play with the hyperparameter, you add in a parameter, you can work with a single layer or more, okay, but we just add in the parameter, and then we are considering the characters, okay, the low level of natural language, and then another classification that we can do using deep learning, we put more than one layer in processing. Okay, some researchers, they put a limitation for a natural language layer of CNN, limited to 5 until 6 layers. Okay, but for others non-natural language, they can be up to from 19 to 152 layers. Okay, but there is one researcher saying that we are not limited to 5 or 6 layers from natural language. If we give more layers, it will give provide a better result. Okay, so even though some researchers put the 5 to 6 layers is enough for the natural language, but that is proven by one researcher saying that the more layers that you give for the natural language, so the deeper the deeper CNN you use, it will decrease the classification error. Okay, meaning that if the classification decrease errors, so meaning that the text classification will be more accurate. Okay, so the numbers of layers is not an issue. Okay, in any approaches that we are using. Okay, but the important thing is the accuracy, the result of accuracy that you are looking at. Okay, so it depends. Sometimes it depends on the domain. Sometimes it depends on the source input that you provide to your problem. Okay, so the next application that I try to link it with the research, okay, is about sentiment analysis. Okay, so we go for the sentiment analysis for social media. Okay, we know that the sentiment analysis is actually started around year 2000. Previously, people not be looking for the sentiment analysis. When there is e-commerce coming, okay, and then there is a review for the product, and then that is sentiment analysis come in. But nowadays, sentiment analysis has been used to see human behavior, so human mood, and so on, for in the social media. Okay, so the basic of the sentiment analysis, the fundamental of sentiment analysis, it comes from the natural language processing, plus with any machine learning. Okay. And then the source that we can get for the sentiment analysis is from different social media feeds. Okay, and then this is the trend of the sentiment analysis. Okay, I got it from the Google. Okay, so the blue line is the sentiment analysis, and then the natural language processing in the red line. So sentiment analysis comes from the bottom. Okay, so at that time, the natural language processing has been popular or has been tackled by the researchers. And then after a certain period, okay, the sentiment analysis, the requirement research on the sentiment analysis is higher than the requirement of the natural language processing. I'm not saying that the natural language processing is static. Okay, there is a lot of improvement on the natural language processing itself. Okay, but people looking for the sentiment analysis because of the requirement. Okay, the requirement and how the sentiment analysis gives the benefit to the businesses. Okay, so this is the general process for the sentiment analysis. First, we have to do data extraction, then do the pre-processing. Okay, the pre-processing here is talking about where is the NLP has been tackled, okay, to analyze every single input in text. And then we start to look at the sentiment identification. What are the sentiment that we are looking at? And then we look at the feature selection, okay. And then we do the sentiment classification, and then at the end, we finally report the polarity. Okay, either neutral, happy, sad, and so on. Okay. I think I have another slide for this. Let me change my slide. I have a feature something. Let me answer first. Okay. Let's get another slide which is it's not ended yet. I'll stop sharing, Dr. Amalia, because I think I have a different slide here.
We have only 5 more minutes, Prof.
5 more minutes. Okay. So let me share. Okay. Let me share this. I just want to finish up the slide. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, I will end up with the feature. Okay, after this. Okay, so this is the sentiment analysis involved in the social media. Okay, so 3 approaches that are commonly used. Okay, machine learning, lexicon-based, and hybrid approaches. Hybrid approaches is actually combination between the machine learning and also the lexicon-based. Okay, then we have the hybrid approaches. So for the machine learning itself, we have several methods that we can use, okay, to do the sentiment analysis. And then this is what the sentiment analysis, the challenges, okay, that we are facing, okay, that everybody are facing for the challenges of the it's about tone, okay. Tone, because some information from the users is implicit or explicit. Okay, sometimes we the explicit might not have a problem in terms of to know their behavior. For example, the product is bad, meaning that is a negative input about the product. So some, the explicit, they are not mentioned directly the keyword, okay, but it just saying different words, okay, which we don't know what is the sentiment, what is the behavior of the customer, okay, looking for the product. Okay, either she or he is happy with the product, or she or he is not happy with the product. Okay. So sometimes the emojis, okay, the emojis is another input actually that we can consider for the sentiment analysis, but definitely it was not being processed as a NLP. Okay, it's something about images unless the emojis have been converted into vectors. Then we are able to see or to analyze the sentiment of the users. And then this is about the future work. Okay. For the evolution of the NLP. Okay. Actually, the application, okay, the machine translation, the information retrieval, sentiment analysis, information extraction, question answering, it happens from the past, present, and could be to the future. Okay. So this is what the natural language processing, the application that related with the NLP or CL. Okay. From the past to the future. Okay, we are still looking for those things. Okay, this kind of application. But can we say that the NLP research is ended due to there is no changes of the opportunity of application that we can do? Okay, the answer is no. Okay, the answer is we can do more than that by aiding the cognitive analytics in those applications. Okay, so this is the future. We are still looking for the information retrieval. We are still looking for the sentiment analysis for the research of CL or NLP, but we add in the cognitive analytics. When we add in the cognitive analytics, meaning that we have to increase, we have to find what is the best method that able to put the cognitive analytics in natural language processing or computational linguistic problem. Okay, that will be the future. For those who are looking for the NLP or CL research, okay, think about the cognitive analytics. Okay, there is a lot of AI or methods that approaches that you can use, okay, to work with the cognitive or to analyze the cognitive. Okay, the text input, the document, the sentence that considered input for the natural language processing is not just plain text, but there is some explanation behind it. Okay, what we always call it as the implicit explanation. Okay, so we add the cognitive analytics because we want to make it more humanized. Okay, when we are giving the answering, okay, we are giving an answer or we are conducting a dialogue. Okay, until the users is not able to identify the next the other side is person or a system. Okay, that is the idea of how the cognitive analytics comes in the natural language processing for their future research. Okay, so with that, that is my email. And then if you can see, we're going to explore my institute. Okay, so there is a link to our main website. Okay, IR4, and this is our building. Okay, so you freely contact me using my email if you have any further questions, or for this opportunity, maybe you can ask any question and I will answer if I can. Okay, so with that, Dr. Amalia, I end this talk.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Rabiah, for a very interesting lecture. Now we are in the second session, question and answer session. We have already two questions here. The first question is from Bapak Heru from doctoral program. In your previous slide, automated text summarization or ETS is one of the interesting tasks in NLP.
Yep.
Many methods are used to produce a good summary, one of which is the graphical method. Do you think the knowledge graph or KG is able to produce a good summary, and can you give advice for research on ATS plus KG, which is currently trending?
Okay. I'm not really good on the automatic text summarization. Okay. Because I'm used to work in question answering, but for the automatic, there is one. I stop sharing. I just want to go through my. Okay, so the automatic summarization. So the automatic summarization basically, the key, when we want the key point that we want to do the automatic summarization, we have to go in until computational linguistics. That means we have to know, we have to work more on the linguistics. That means we have to represent all the sources that we have semantically. Okay, there is two approaches that commonly used to represent semantic. Okay, it's semantic technology, which basically we are using ontology, but I'm not using the ontology for automatic summarization, but you can use the ontology, because the ontology, text ontology base is basically represent the relation between the concept, okay, between the concept for a certain document. Okay, so each concept in the ontology itself has been given the relation. Okay, so that will be talking about the ontology representation. Okay, each concept in ontology, has been given the relationship between one concept to another concept. Okay, the relationship between concept here is giving the meaning or the understanding, okay, of one sentence to another sentence, or one word to another word. Okay, so in automatic summarization, you have to know how to represent the meaning of the source in text. Then, because summarization is you try to reduce the number of words or the number of sentences without without reducing the main idea of the document or sentence. Okay, am I right? Who is the who asked the question? Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Can I talk with someone who asked the question?
Yes, Mr. Heru.
Mr. Heru. Okay.
Yes.
So is he a student or what?
Yes, he is
Student with
a student,
You are doing
doctoral program student.
okay, PhD student.
Yeah.
So you are doing the automatic summarization.
Yes.
Okay. So the main thing is you have to go up to the computational linguistics. Okay. You must know the interrelation between one phrase to another phrase, one sentence to other sentence until up to the document. Okay. So either you can use ontology to represent the semantic technology, or you can use the logical method. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other things is if you are willing to work to change the the word into vectors, which is you are doing the word embedding. Okay.
Okay.
So you must look at the weightage. Okay.
Okay.
There are many methods on word embedding. Okay, so each single word basically there have a weightage. Okay, but you cannot use the word embedding per se individually, but you have to embed with any machine learning method or technique. Okay, to fine tune the relationship that you are giving.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that is how but I'm not really work on the automatic summarization, but I read some articles. Okay. The key point is about how do you present your semantics.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from Bu Deli Jolita. She is a PhD student. Assalamualaikum, Professor. I'm Denny. The first question, is it possible that NLP can be applied to e-learning? For example, essay answers submitted by students through the system that can be accessed directly. The second question, is there a provision in NLP about the maximum words that can be used as a database in one case?
What? So can you repeat the second question?
Is there a provision in NLP about the maximum words that can be used as a data set? Maybe she mean a data set in one case.
Or maximum words for the data set?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I answer the first one. Okay, definitely yes. Okay. NLP is needed if you try to giving evaluation of the essay answers or short answers. Okay, so that is my first answer for the first question. And in terms of the maximum words, okay, for the data set, it depends on what that you are working with. Okay, if you are working on the sentiment analysis, okay, you need 1 million words. Okay, you need 1 million words to do the sentiment analysis. But if you are working with the question answering, you can work less than that. Okay, very less. Okay, very minimum. Okay, because query every single query that we run is considered one experiment. Okay, so the minimum for question answering application or research, the minimum is about 50 only. Okay, but you can get my student basically if they are running for the queries like information extraction, okay, any question answering system, okay, the query that the student run is about 80 to 150. I even though I know the minimum is 50, but I wouldn't take my risk to my student, if I just put it as a 50 query, okay, so I put my own range, okay, for the number of query into 80 up to 150 query only. Okay. As I said, for the text classification, sentiment analysis, that one needs a huge number of words. Okay, basically we will run about million words. Okay, that is my answer for the second.
Okay, thank you. We have the last question. Thank you for very a good presentation, Prof. Dr. Rabiah. I'm Erman Sibarani. I have question. Why do we have to use computational linguistics in the Chatbox application instead of creating a Chatbox agent again? It is enough to use a rule case according to the needs of the super expert system Chatbox in general. He has two questions. The second question, is the agent able to record the truth based on the answer given through the chatbot question, or what percent of truth can the system conclude if all user answer wrong? Sorry, if so, has the bot become stupid because it has learned the wrong answer or vice versa?
Is it handle the wrong answer in chatbot? How?
Maybe we can welcome Mr. Erman Sibarani to active the microphone and directly ask to Prof. Rabiah. Hello, Mr. Erman.
Maybe I answer for the first.
Okay. The first question, why do we have to use computational linguistics in the Chatbook application instead of creating a Chatbook agent? The first question.
That one is for the first question.
Why do
first question I can answer, but second question I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do we have to use?
Can you read the question?
Why do we have to use computational linguistics or NLP in the Chatbox application instead of creating a Chatbox again? It is enough to use agent. Yes, it is enough to use a rule case according to the needs of the super expert system Chatbox in general. Maybe he want to compare between the natural language processing and the expert system.
And the expert system. Okay.
Yes.
Chatbot without NLP. Is that the chatbot? Why do we need the chatbot, the CL or NLP, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we just use a rule base? Okay. If we want to use the rule base without NLP and CL, the answer is yes. Okay. The answer is yes to we having a chatbot without CL or NLP. Okay, why? We work with the template, and then the template will be indexed. Okay, so that kind of chatbot is a guided chatbot. You might not allow the users to ask or to have their own sentences in the chatbot, and the chatbot can be done. Okay, but when you apply CL or NLP, that means you allow the users to have their own words, okay? To have their own question or query to us. Okay. Once we are dealing with the open-ended query, meaning that we allow the users to ask any question, we cannot run from NLP or CL. Okay, that is my answer. Rule-based without NLP can be done, but the chatbot called as a guided chatbot. Okay, so NLP, when you put the NLP, meaning that you allow users to have their own query, then we have to do a processing. Okay, so to do that processing, we need the NLP definitely. Okay, so I'm sorry for the second question. I'm not understand actually.
Yes.
Sorry.
Me as well. uh, Prof, I have one question. We know many research on computational linguistics and NLP are centered for the English and Mandarin. So I want to ask you, what is the challenge for low resource language to follow the trends of application in the NLP, like Bahasa Indonesia or Melayu? Because we have the dataset less than English or Mandarin.
Yeah. Okay. So not just Indonesian language, we also having a problem in our Malay language actually, because all the grammar in NLP established in English and Mandarin. Okay. Malay, there are researchers working with Malay grammar, and then the rest, that means that they have to create it from scratch. Okay. Provide the grammar, provide all the Malay words. Okay. So if you want to do that, you can. Okay, but it's really a tough work to do. Okay, so for me, in my research, basically for those who are doing this different languages rather than English, okay, so definitely I'm not using Mandarin, I don't understand. Okay, so I just concentrate on the English repository. Okay, so the translation, okay, we use the translation, the existing translation that we can consider a good translator too. So any query will be any query that in different language than English, okay, translate it first, okay, and then the back end of the process is still using English. Okay, but that is the fastest way, okay, to analyze the language or to process a language different than English or Mandarin. Okay, but if you have, if it depends, if your work, if your research is really want to put the to provide the repository of the Indonesian language, that means you have to work from scratch. Yeah, as what I said, that there is a Jordanian student. She took 1 year, okay, just to develop the data set for Arabic. Okay, so 1 year just concentrate on the data set development. Okay, because she want to create the repository for the Arabic language. But you still have a choice. Either you convert it into, or you translate it language, or you work from scratch for the language other than English. Okay, sebab because natural language processing is a research focus on the domain.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Professor.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of our general lecture session. On behalf of the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, so I would like to say thanks again to our guest lecturer for the informative and interesting lecture and discussion. We are really grateful for your speech and also for your talk and experience in NLP field, so you share with us. Now we will give a symbolic certificate.
Oh, okay, symbolic. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's from our faculty for Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir. Thank you very much for your lecture, Professor.
Thank you for the invitation as well.
Okay, your lecture has provided us a lot of motivation, especially for in the field of computational linguistics or NLP. We are really thankful to you for your sincerity and wish you good luck for the next time, Professor Rabiah. I also want to thanks to the audience for your participation. Hopefully this lecture will be beneficial for everybody. Stay healthy and safe everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir. Thank you, Dr. Amalia. Finally, we come to the end part of the event. On behalf of Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, Universitas Sumatera Utara, we would like thanks to Associate Professor Dr. Rabiah Abdul Kadir from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia for interesting presentation and experience, and all participants for active participation. Hopefully the COVID pandemic can be over so we can meet directly in the classroom physically, and we can come to Dr. Rabiah can come to Indonesia to collaborate in the research of natural language processing and computational linguistics. In here, any Dr. Amalia and any Dr. Dani Gunawan and me, and focusing on natural language and CL, computational linguistics. Thank you very much, Dr. Rabiah. See you next time. Stay healthy and happy.
Yeah, the researchers from USU also, you are welcome to UKM. Maybe after the pandemic. Inshallah.
Professor, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Profesor dapat salam dari Dr. Rabiah, dari Dr. Maya. Beliau ada urusan.
Ya, tak apa. I see you.